Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and today I'm here to do my October wrap up. I didn't read a whole lot, but I did read a lot of some things and started new things in addition to those. So let's just go through these. So I actually DNF'd a handful of books in the month of October. There's actually 5 of them. So let's get those out of the way. So the first one I'm going to mention is Silver Elite. This one I actually started and DNF'd it in September and I couldn't remember if I'd mentioned it or not. But in case I didn't, I'm mentioning it now. Silver Elite I borrowed from the library on audio and it just didn't hook me in, and I think maybe if I picked it up in physical form, I have a friend who listened to it and really loved it and thinks that if I tried to read it in physical form that I may actually like it a little bit better, so maybe someday I'll do that. I don't know. The first one that I know I DNF'd in October was Overdue by Stephanie Perkins. I received this as an e-arc on my Kindle and I was so excited for it. I think it was a combination of it just being a little bit slow and the main character, I don't remember what her name is, but she was just kind of annoying and seemed very young. Like her rationale for things and the reasoning behind things just seemed a bit naive. I just wasn't really hooked into it and I wasn't really enjoying it. I read about 20% of it, but I figured by that point I had a good handle on if I was enjoying it or not, so I DNF'd it, unfortunately. The next one that I DNF'd was The Full Moon Coffee Shop, and this one was by Mai Makazuki with Sado Ueda. I don't know how to say these names, I really apologize, but this was another one that I picked up on audio and I read about half of this one. It just didn't really hold my attention and it also had a lot to do with astrology. I'm not really super interested in that, and so I ended up just DNFing it and getting into another book instead. Another one that I picked up on audio was Sandwich by Catherine Newman. I had heard such amazing things about this one. I started this one on a walk listening to it and the writing was decent and like fast paced, but there was just some content things that I wasn't really enjoying, and there was just multiple instances of it already within the first 20% of the book that I just decided to go ahead and DNF. The last DNF is actually not like a hard DNF. It's just, I call it a rain check because soft DNF doesn't feel as temporary, I guess. I picked up If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia and I got to 17% and I was really enjoying this. I only put it down because I have quite a few other things I want to finish up first before I really get into that, and it's a very fun fall atmospheric read and I want to be able to give my full attention to it. So yeah, I rain checked that, possibly to pick up in November if I can, but otherwise I might keep that on the shelf until next fall. Let's get into the things now that I did actually read. The first one that I completed in the month of October is The Yada Yada Prayer Group Gets Real. This is book number 3 in the Yada Yada Prayer Group series, and this one thankfully didn't take me nearly as long to get through as the first 2. I think I started this one at the beginning of October, finished it. I rated this one 4 stars. I have 3 down, 4 to go, I believe. The next one finished in October was Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. This one I started before the beginning of October, probably sometime in September. This is a book that I was reading with my daughter who is 9, and we had read it together before, but her curriculum for homeschool English had us reading this again, and that was fine because she actually asked to read it again and really loves this story. So I've actually read this now like 3 times as an adult recently. The next book I picked up was for the Sleep When I'm Dead book club, and that was We Live Here Now by Sarah Pinborough. I had never read anything by Sarah Pinborough before, but I had been interested in this one already, so I got it from the library and I really enjoyed this one. Despite the author, I believe the author is from Yes, the author is from England, and many times it's iffy on if I can get along with an English author or not. There are a few, but usually I can pick up a book, start reading it, and realize with their writing that it's an English author. That was the case with this one, and I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes, because a lot of times I don't end up enjoying books written by English authors. I don't know what it is about them, but I did actually really enjoy this one. This was not super fast-paced, but not a slow-paced book either. It's about this couple. The woman had a really bad accident, and so they move into this new house in the country to kind of like restart. There's like these spooky things going on. They're trying to figure out what's going on, and yeah, it took a turn I was not expecting, which I love when books do that. I do recommend this. I rated it 4.5 stars. The next book that I finished was Henry Huggins by Beverly Cleary. This was a book chosen by my 9-year-old to read at bedtime. We read it in about a week and a half or so. This is the same author as the Ramona books, which he will see one of those here in just a second as well. I had never read any of the Henry Huggins series though as a kid, and I don't know if it's just because it's an older series than the Ramona series, which I didn't realize. This is kind of along the same vein as the Fudge series as far as like the pacing and the way the chapters are kind of disjointed. It was still interesting enough, a bit funny. I don't rate the books that I read for my daughter, so there's that. Those are all the books that I completed in the month of October. So yeah, not very many. There was 4, but I did start another handful of them this month. So I will show you the ones that I am in the middle of. So first up, I have The Beatitudes by Charles Spurgeon. I was trying to read this along with the couple booktubers who were doing the discussion. I did the first 2 weeks of like keeping up, and then I got behind, and so I am going to finish this. I am up to chapter 4, which is page 52, about 30% of the way through, and I am thinking I'm just going to try and do a chapter a week. That'll give me plenty of time to kind of like break it down if I need to, and just keep plugging along on that. Next, I had picked up The Yada Yada Prayer Group Gets Tough after I finished the last one. This is book 4, which I thought this was going to be a new read instead of a reread, but I guess I had actually read this one before. It is the last one that I will be rereading though. The next one, number 5, will be new to me, so I'm interested to finally get there. I am about halfway through this one. I've been reading this on ebook, so it's kind of a slower pace read for me that I just read it at night a lot of the time. That way I will continuously be reading on one of these books at least. The next one that I picked up is Wayward by Amelia Hart, and this is my bestie's favorite book. So I've been wanting to read it, and because it really fits the fall theme, I went ahead and picked it up. I am on page 116, chapter 19, so I wouldn't say I'm like quite halfway through, but you can see I have lots of tabs. I'm really enjoying this, but I kind of haven't really been reading a whole lot recently, so I need to get back into this and finish it. Next, we also started Ramona and Her Father by Beverly Cleary. This again is for my daughter's homeschool English, and let's see, we're almost halfway through. I can't recall if I ever read this particular Ramona book or not. I probably did, but anyways, it's going good. I really enjoyed the Ramona books. Lastly, we have picked up The House of Dysdre by Virginia Hamilton. This one is our bedtime read. I chose this one because we also read Henry's Freedom Box, put that up here, for our little pod group that we do for her homeschool, and this is kind of along the same idea. The House of Dysdre is about a house in Ohio that this little boy moves into that used to be on the Underground Railroad, and so it's got like a history and some like legend stories about it. I read this when I was a kid once. I'm not even sure if I actually finished it, so I'm super excited to be reading this. And let's see, we're not very far. We're on chapter 6. So, but she's liking it too. Those are all the books that I have for the month of October. A lot of partial reads. I didn't do stats or anything like that, but that's okay. So hopefully the month of November will go a little bit better. And yeah, if you read any of these, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.